110 minutes. Sorry, guys. That still ended up being like 20 minutes longer than what I hoped it was going to be. I hope that wasn't too painful of a watch. It's just that my views on this nation are radically different than other people's, so I really kind of felt I should try to explain why I think this nation, at the time I kind of stopped playing like 6 months ago, had no wins in multiplayer, and everybody else still thought it was a fantastic nation. When I started playing it, I'm just like, man, this nation has some very glaring problems here. And I still think that 100%. So, start position, not too bad, actually, not too bad. I can hopefully grab up these three right here. And hopefully I can get my hands on two thrones as well. So, border-wise, I'll probably want to aim for... Man, as much as I want that, the better border situation would probably be something like that. Overall, that would basically be the outline of my borders. I should be able to actually expand a little heavier than that, as long as I don't run into AIs right off the bat. Speaking of, who are we fighting? Olm, TNN, Tanir Narog, Yomi, and Oceana, right? Yeah, Oceana. Okay, so I might be next to one of the water nations. Hopefully they are not in this pond. Hopefully they are in this pond, because that will put them quite a bit farther away from me, and I don't really want to deal with a water nation. It's not hard to just keep booting them back into the water, but I really don't want to. Okay, so since we know that there is a water nation in the game overall, let's go ahead and run around and start looking for a water nation, because they're pretty easy to find. So we're going to go ahead and prophetize him, because he is going to bless my first set of sacreds. So I've used up all my holy points, and you'll notice that I can only recruit 5 this turn. I talked about production 1 evened out my first few turns, which led to a better expansion. The reason being is I used to buy a bunch of soothsayers. Now, I'm only at -8 resources. Resources don't carry over from turn to turn. However, any resources that you've already spent on a unit are still spent next turn. Meaning, next turn, this is not going to cost me 16 resources, because I've already spent 8 on this. Unless I'm stupid enough to remove it next turn, which I absolutely will not be. That will basically let me get 11 in the first 2 turns. With the fort spam, it also lets me push out the Amazons slightly quicker. Obviously, I'm going to be going with the Spirit Guide, because I don't want to find out that I got screwed on research early in the game. You know what? Actually, we're going to change this up. We're going to go ahead and ping this throne, because it is in my cap circle, and I want it really badly, especially because it's in my cap circle. I'm going to hope that it's not a very hard throne to take. Cross your fingers, or cross my fingers at least. Research-wise, early in the game, what we're going to aim for is Thaumaturgy 2. Yes, that is literally my early game research goal. So basically, I'll be picking up Communion Master and Communion Slave, which lets you basically turn your mages into a giant seance type thing to power up the masters, while the slaves power them up and they take part of the fatigue. However, then I need spells to actually be able to cast, which is going to be Mind Burn. Mostly because it is very easy to get. It's only going to cost me, what, 100, 150 RP? To grab, wow, I can't even remember what the second level is going to be, 100 or 150. I think it's 150. Obviously, I am out of practice. Now, this is MR negates. Some nations, it's not going to deal a lot to. Yomi has pretty decent MR, so basically, if I fight Yomi, it's going to be a fairly useless spell. Looks pretty good. No point in checking mercenaries, because I can't outbid the AI here. So what do we have? Oh my god, this is going to be very easy, which is good. What are these? Wolf Tribe? I kind of wish it wasn't Wolf Tribe, but I personally have a little more fear of the Wolf Tribe than what most players do. A lot of players think they're pushovers. I think they're a little harder than what most people actually give them credit for, though. Alright, so how do I want to expand this? So let's check some exact numbers here. Okay. Boy, that's actually a pretty big province, too. It's got 105 income, though. Oh, man, is greed getting the better of me? I think it is. I mean, I'm probably not going to get very much income out of these damn forests because they never have very good population. Never ever try to take a swamp or a waste first turn. It's going to really, really bork your build order here. Yeah, that's hardly defended at all. So that's going to be uh, what I'm going to go for. Alright, so I'd like to actually spend some money and buy part of a Sauromatia and Amazon here, but I don't really know if I'm going to have good gold too far into this, so we're not going to pick that up yet. This is probably going to be actually fairly devastating going like I'm about to, but I'm going to do it anyways. Oh, wow, I did not script any of my guys. I'm an idiot. Well, this is a very small province. Now, do Divine Blessing. There you go. Good job. And there they go. Okay, so let's see if I can not completely screw up the beginning of the game again. Thankfully, it was a very, very weak province. So, my stupidity is saved. Ah, son of a bitch. Okay, so we've got a black candle here. This early in the game, basically anything with a candle right next door means a single candle this early in the game means that there is a province adjacent to this one. So there is a capital here, doubtful, here, doubtful, here or here, which means I am actually next to the damn water nation. I don't even have to really look. I already know it to be true, and it's at least I'm not going to control a massive coastline with them. I definitely don't even. Well, that's not. Two provinces against them is not terrible, I guess. It could certainly be worse. I love this start position right here on this map, unless there's a water nation, in which case I basically have to keep fighting them off of one border or the other, no matter which way I look at it. So let's go ahead and wander around and figure out where they are at. Okay, so let's see if we can, again, not manage to screw this up. I hope they don't have cavalry. I didn't even check there, but it is a farmlands. You will see a lot of times that the farmlands have like cataphracts and stuff in them, heavy cav. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If this has actually 40 rather than the 70 it showed last turn, that's going to be a pretty big advantage for me overall. The way the scouting reports work is you're going to see it change turn to turn. That's not because the number of troops are changing there. It's because your scouts are horribly inaccurate. When it tells you that it has 40 troops, this could be either 50% of what is actually here, half of what's here, meaning there might actually be 80 troops here in this province, or it could be 200%, double what it actually has, meaning there might actually just be, there could be literally anywhere from 20 to 80 troops in this province overall, just by doing the basic math of it, because it's somewhere between, obviously, half and double. So it's probably somewhere in the middle, around 60. I'll bet you the last 70 was pretty damn close. So let's make sure we get Divine Blessing up first turn. And then why don't we actually help out our guys instead of sitting on your ass? Okay, and basically I'm retreating with this guy. This is something you can do literally in the first few turns of the game and nowhere afterwards. I'm basically going to reinforce my army here, and my mage is going to retreat from the battle. Now, the troops still have another leader, so they're going to stay in the battle because he's leading them. However, when he retreats, the retreat is going to be into a neighboring controlled province, meaning it's going to bounce to here or here. So I have a 50% chance of having it back in my capital at the beginning of next turn, and it just starts researching right away. And even if it ends up right here, what's the difference? You know, if I'd kept him in the battle, he's not going to cast any good spells or be of any use to me at all. So basically, he would just stand there all battle and have to walk one turn next turn anyways. So there's really no opportunity cost here. We're going to just double check that again because I feel like an idiot after that first time. Alright, so proclamation from a bunch of different people. This is not all that terrible, to be honest. I really need my cavalry back about 2 squares right there, though. At least they didn't really do any serious damage to my guys here. And now they're going to charge in and literally wipe out a bunch of these guys. And they're going, so now we're down to the heavy infantry. I wish you guys would fire at the archers now instead. Why can't you be smart, game? Or you guys, go attack the archers. Quit just standing there. Okay, so the entire independent armies are routing at this point. Good deal. Alright, so it looks like I lost a couple Lancers. The Lancers, they're disposable. Really, as far as the expansion goes, not a big loss there. So 53 is what they actually had there. Lots of events. Cold +3. Oh, alright. Actually, no, not alright. That confuses me. Oh, there's a throne right here. Oh, that sucks. I would really like that throne, and I am not going to be able to take it for a long time. Okay, so I could basically already tell you this is a level 2 throne. The reason I know this is because it has a monolith, which is a pretender chasis. So let's go ahead and look. It's either the Throne of Knowledge, it spreads dominion by 2, and it can recruit either lore masters or sages, and the lore masters and sages are very good at researching, which is not going to be really all that important for my nation overall, because I research really damn good anyways. And then we have Throne of the Moon, which is going to be, I get +1 growth. That would be really, really good. The +3 precision, not going to do me a lot of good, but still a water and a astral pearl. This is what I hope it is, by a long shot. Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm literally surrounded by thrones right here, so. Okay, don't ever do this. When you have your guy retreat like that, don't be an idiot and forget these are here. I do that a lot. Don't be me. It's a bad idea. Okay, we didn't get lucky. He bounced to here, but you know, even if I kept him in the battle, he's got to spend 1 turn walking home anyways, so no real major loss here. So what are we recruiting this turn? No, we need to change this up. So at this point, okay, you're going to see that I'm actually short a little bit of gold here, right? But we have to remove one of these, and that means that I now have the Warrior Sorceress. Now let's just go ahead and kind of look at this if I had expanded into this waste first time. I literally have a treasury left of 17, and I had a pretty low pop right here. So I'm not getting a ton of income out of here. Thankfully, I was able to kind of even it out like 2 basically medium pop provinces. As long as you don't hit a swamp or a waste on your first or second turn, you should be safe from this overall. Just kind of keep that in mind, otherwise your thing is going to be a little wonky. Now again, this is where I was talking about, okay, so you want to go with a Warrior Priestess? Uh-oh, I only have 4 resources left. I don't want 4 resources left, because I want to try to pick up a Amazon. And it's a good thing I didn't K up that Amazon earlier. Well, I guess it really wouldn't matter, because I'd still have 4 gold left and only 1 arrow catcher. It's a lot better if you can go ahead and get 2 or 3 of them. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Just double check, make sure I grab those guys good. Alright, looks solid. So, a battle in whatever this is. Now, the reason I don't like these guys is they do have 2 attacks out of each square, meaning even against cavalry that take -1 from successive attacks, each square of theirs puts out 6 attacks, though, which means they still have a pretty decent chance of hitting my Sacreds back here. And my Sacreds basically rely completely on their high defensive skill and then not being hit. When they are hit, they're not the world's most durable unit. That's pretty much the way they work. Alright, so let's go ahead and fast forward this so we can get through this a little quicker. They should be routing any moment now. Good. And I did lose a Sacred. Well, for a throne, it's worth it. I never did check the rest of my events back there. I'm an idiot. Land's been trapped in perpetual winter. Duh. Okay, this is basically an event you get off the Throne of Winter. I can tell you what throne that is, because the lands that are around it, which are going to be these, have a chance of getting frozen. Basically, it gets this. It's going to increase the cold. Not a big deal for me because I have heat 3, so it's not like it's going to do anything but give me a little bit of extra income, because I'm not going to be punished as harshly for it. What do we got here? Lower throne, 5 blood slaves per turn, and some dominion. Interesting. Pretty decent. I'd like to go ahead and grab some of these other ones up, because this event used to just keep firing infinitely. It was really weird. So that you'd keep getting frozen lands over and over and over again. They changed it where I think it'll only pop like 3 times, so I'd like to get a hold of both of these provinces before it's done. Try to have that advantage in my back pocket, because if I can get 3 extra water gems for doing absolutely nothing, that would be fantastic, and I will be very happy. Okay, so since I can't get a hold of this, we're maybe try to border myself something like that. I'm not very happy with that. Alright, so let's go ahead and go with a few more of those. Alright, so we're going to go blessing, 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 hold, stay behind troops, because if I don't tell her to hold 2 turns, she's going to want to run up behind my Sacreds, and occasionally she gets smacked in the face and killed, which is never a good thing. And basically, we put you hold on attack. Basically, hopefully most of the arrow fire will go at her. It's a single unit. Honestly, the archers should be able to kill her in, I don't know, 2 or 3 provinces normally is how long I get. But, you know, any little bit I can get to protect my Sacreds from arrows, I'll go ahead and do it. I could go ahead and claim the throne right now. I'm not going to, mostly because that would take up one of my turns of expansion. I'll easily be able to fall back later and get it. The main question now is, do I actually want to continue to try to grab up like this land over here, or do I want to actually push my influence this direction, something like that as my border? This is going to be a pretty hard one to take as well. I actually wish I had a guy to ping it. In fact, I'm going to buy a guy to ping it, because I'm really curious what is there. So you notice that I've actually quit recruiting any troops. This is my expansion force. You can ridiculously scale your expansion much, much higher than what I am going to. I should end up with 14 or 15 provinces overall by the end of it, which I'm more than happy with, that being my expansion, so that I can start getting forts up. You just kind of got to realize that that's what your planning to do. If you want to scale your expansion and just get more gold so that then you can throw that into forts, that's completely a viable option. I like to have the forts going just as quickly as possible, though. How are we doing there? Not very good. Right. Looks good. So we've done our first level of thaumaturgy research. Oh my god, I didn't tell them to hold an attack. So I didn't bless them all. Did I happen to get them all right there? I should have got enough of them, though. Okay, and you'll see right here, this is why the death version is probably the most usable early, because when you pick up Tham 1, you already have Frighten, which basically just pushes a morale check on these guys, which is maybe not the worst thing in the world, because if I can get them to rout before I really have to fight them, that's a good thing. It's also got a range of 50 on the spell, which means it's really good. See, they're still shooting at this poor guy back here. I don't know why you guys are chasing off after them. Just kill the archers. Kill the archers. Don't let them kill him. Oh my god. Come on, kill them all before this guy gets out of the screen. No, don't be casting Decay, you moron. Alright, so my guy didn't actually get out of the battle. That's good. So, lost nothing. Pretty good. If I lost my arrow catcher literally first battle because he just ran away, I would be pissed off. So we're just basically going to turbo through this. This is just expansion at this point. Nothing terribly interesting going on. I lost another Lancer. I got Gloves of the Gladiator. Not a very good item, though. Assassination attempt. Oh. Okay, so this is kind of crappy because this is not a spell or an attack I really want to deal with, and this has got a really high ability to hit. So even with my very good 23 defense here, I'm not guaranteed. No, attack it. Yes, there you go. Good, good. So that was a little worrying, but thankfully it ended up being nothing. Yeah, you can see this has 10 income. If I had actually taken that rather than this first turn, obviously, I only had 4 extra gold. I'm actually in the negative gold then, which means I do have to buy that Warrior Priestess I keep complaining about. Start a fort now, or go ahead and ping the throne. Start a throne. Start a fort, or ping the throne. Damn, no. No spies, okay. Wow. So TNN is actually not that far from us. We can see that this is not their start position. There's no way their candle spread that far in one turn. We happen to know that Oceania then started right here. That's actually a lot of caps in a very small area. Oh, I was hoping you got wounded. If you can get these guys crippled, it's actually really good for arrow catchers because they can never run away from the battle. So, Gloves of the Gladiator, it's a fairly worthless item. You will get 4 attacks out of it, and if you have enough strength, you can honestly deal some pretty decent damage with it, but it doesn't add much to the attack or defense. It's just not all that great all around. So you'll see the damage is 15 magical. That's going to be adding in my strength plus the 3 of the gloves themselves, and I actually get 4 attacks out of these per turn. 4 15 magical damage attacks. Not the worst item in the world, but certainly not great. Little nervous about the horsemen here. So what we're going to do is change this up a little bit. Basically, I want to try to banish out most of these undead horsemen before I actually have to fight them. Yeah, we are going to go ahead and ping this throne, because I want to see what's here. I have a feeling I'm going to need both my groups to take it later, though. I mean, I'm seeing Phantasmal Warriors, definitely a Sorceress, and because there are Dark Vines here, that probably means there's like 3 to 4 Mages, plus probably 3 to 5 Bloodhinged Druids, which are... that's a lot of Mage firepower and something I really don't want to deal with, at least right now. Okay, so what do we have here? So, the reason I don't want to deal with these guys is they do have a light lance with charge bonus. These are the epitome of glass cannon. They can deal pretty decent damage in their first attack, but they only have 5 hit points. They're not... they don't have any real strength or lasting power to them at all. Yeah, see, my archers literally just took out like 2 of them. And I forgot to tell them to hold an attack, which is pretty pathetic. That's the reason I moved them all so far back. Yay for me being stupid yet again. They also have 50 morale, so these guys are not routing. Okay, so we got through that. Now it does look like they've actually got a Deathcaster back here, Death 2, and he is Skelly spamming. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. My Sacreds are not going to fatigue out before I chop through many lines of skeletons, which means he's basically dead. You kind of got to be careful depending on what your army is, because sometimes these undead provinces do have the Death 2 casters. Sometimes it's just some, well, there's one actually right, damn it, right there. You can end up with some mountings. Both the mounted version and the unmounted version is the leaders, which are actually really easy to kill, but the Death 2 mages can give you a little bit of problems sometimes. So, what did we lose there? 1 Lancer, that's actually not bad at all. Yeah, I might be able to see what blessing they have. Let's go ahead and take a peek. Wait, is that the opponent that blessed? Yeah. Okay, so he's blessing himself, or some of his guys up here. Okay, so they have a Water 9 Bless, same as me, which is actually exactly what this nation needs, and exactly a really good thing if the nations are able to pick a decent Bless for themselves. They don't always do that. Unfortunately, the nations don't really understand how to run thugs and stuff, so, you know, fat chance, but these now have 21 defense, and they have Glamour. So basically, the first time you hit the unit, it actually is not going to deal any damage. You've just hit a mirror shadow of the unit. And it's not even like a chance you can hit the real guy instead. Like, you literally have to break the shadow first, the mirror image of them. And when mages use it, like you'll see this guy back here, looks like he has a buttload more images. That's because for air magic levels, you actually get a greater number of copies. So, you actually have more shadows on this guy back here. Really, we're not going to watch that. They should be able to slaughter anything with that Bless, even the AI. Okay, so what do we have here? Looks like 4 wood hinges. Looks like 1, 2 sorceresses. Is that it? I would expect actually 3 or 4. Okay, and what do we have here? This is not a terrible version to be fighting. I will actually lose some Oriapata because she's going to summon fire elementals. This one can Skelly spam, which is actually pretty damn bad when backed up with this kind of mage power. The real fear here, though, is the Air 2, because she will just Shockwave, and then she will Thunderstrike all of my Sacreds and wipe out a couple squares of them in a turn. They've also got these very one-hit point guys here that need mage leadership, but they have the ethereal, so most of my attacks will not actually hit them to kill them. I mean, I'm going to have a hard time chopping through them ridiculously fast to get to said mages. Okay. We're going to go ahead and turbo it up again. Ah, did I not hold an attack again? Okay. No losses, good. And cold +3. That sucks, because I'd really like to get some more gems out of that. But I can't get that province. Ah! Oh, Horphog, this is going to be easy. That's actually really fortunate on my side of things. Oh, I didn't recruit another guy last turn. I'm an idiot. That's alright, I'll go ahead and get it this turn. So let's go ahead and recruit up a guy here. And damn it, I gotta buy the expensive one. Screw you, game. You know what? This has actually probably gone about as long as I want to. I don't want to make this too long. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.